YouTube, what the crap's going on? Heir of Carthage back on Total War Rome 2, and this time it's going to be Pontus versus Rome. I used Pontus not too long ago, wanted to pull him out again here. Against Rome, they're a decent faction, I think, because of the chariots, and then they also have better cost-effective cav, I think. Noble Blood cav is pretty good, and it's cheaper than Praetorian cav by a good bit. Though the others do have Draco, which is going to affect all the Pontic cav because it's all spear armed. So in this case, the Roman player actually recognized me, said he enjoys my videos, which that's always kind of you all when you say that. And then he brought this line of Evocati cohort here and was laughing, saying, "Hey, it's Evocati cohort, your favorite." So I don't know if he just did it as kind of like a funny joke or if it's just his preferred army or whatever. It doesn't matter. I mean, it's not like I threw rules out there. You can bring whatever you want when you play against me. So I was kind of hoping, though, that the Roman was going to bring heavy infantry, because heavier infantry like that makes it actually a little easier for scythe chariots to be cost-effective, because they can kill something that's more expensive. The challenge is going to be getting past all his Praetorian cav, which has a bonus versus large, or it drops. Draco takes away bonus versus large from enemy heavy units. Plus, these guys are going to be heavy enough that they can slow down my chariots. That's really the best way to stop chariots, is to get cavalry into them, and not just light cav, heavy cav. You need to get heavy melee cav or heavy shot cav in chariots, and it'll slow them down. Their mass just won't pull through it. Now, if you were facing a faction like the Arverni or the Suevi or something like that, chariots are going to be particularly dangerous to those armies, like Aravasi, Lusitani. All those factions need to absolutely downright fear scythe chariots from an infantry standpoint, because pretty much none of your infantry is going to be able to stand in their way, short of like an Oathsworn or a Heroic Noble. I say that, you'd be better off with a Spear Noble, is really what I meant. So yeah, they're going to be very hard to stop for those factions. Yes, you can use your heavy melee cav to stop them, but generally speaking, those factions don't have the world's greatest infantry. So if your heavy melee cav is off trying to stop chariots, it might leave your flank open to some of the enemy melee cav. All of those factions are a little bit at risk to heavy melee cav factions. Not necessarily all the time, but I'm just saying in general, it's something to be aware of if someone picks Pontus against you as a barbarian faction. So what do I have as an army? I've got 2 Pontic Royal cav, which is kind of risky because they're very expensive shot cav and you have to use them properly. But I was kind of hoping for rear charges, obviously. I've got 7 Pontic Swordsmen, I believe, 2 Mercenary Celtic Light Horse, which are meant to go after his skirmishers, and then I'm keeping my chariots from in behind, because I want to stop his Praetorian cav in its tracks and then bring the chariots around the flank for the finishing coup de grace against the Evocati. That's my plan. So my opponent has 4 Praetorian cav, 5 Evocati cohort, and 3 Valeric Slingers, with his like general and bodyguard unit here. He has chevrons on the bodyguard. Just may not have had anywhere else to spend them. So maybe the reasoning behind that. I don't think I see any other chevrons in his units. Nope. Alright, so he took this hill position, so I'm going to end up having to attack uphill, which is not ideal. Not for me, at least. It's good for him, because the Evocati cohort are already going to be kind of an interesting force to reckon with. They're going to cut down my swordsmen in moments. So I'm going to have to be quick. And here my opponent catches me off guard as microing the other side of the battle. He brings his Praetorian cav in while I wasn't quite ready for a countercharge, and does an interesting thing. He bypasses my Noble Blood cav and starts trying to chase my horse archers. Or, I can't remember if he goes into this light cav. He might know that my light cav is for getting to these guys, so that may be why he did this. So I have to use my light cav to intercept him. My horse archers were not on skirmish, because I'm going to try and control them on my own. I did not get a proper countercharge with these Pontic Royal cav. So, being frustrated that I lost the charge on that flank, I'm going to be a little more proactive on the other flank, and go in and make sure that I don't lose the charge to his men. But I'm going to go ahead and give my swordsmen their attack orders, but I'm going to have to be quick at this point. So I have my chariots already in position. And see how he's keeping his heavy cav right here to protect against the chariots? I have to stop his heavy cav. And right here he actually pounces on my light cav, which is kind of good and kind of bad. It's kind of good because he wasted his charge, and here he's going to get cleanly countercharged by a Pontic Royal cav. And then my chariots now have a completely open window right here. But you can see my Pontic swordsmen almost dead already, just taking massive losses to the Evocati cohort. And I don't even think the Evocati cohort charged me. And then look, just a couple of his general bodyguards unit actually slowed my chariots down. And then he tries an attack order with his Evocati, and so I'm having to spam attack orders on these Balearic Slingers, because my chariots are slowed down. This is one of the dangers of them. But once I get them moving again, it'll be fine. And my opponent's movements with his cavalry has given me some advantage to use at this point, but I'm going to have to hurry, because my chariots really need to get a lot of kills on his Evocati quick. We ended up wrapping up this one, but my guys are losing on this flank. They're already gone. That's how quick Evocati can mop up your men. And then I did a rear charge here, which was great, but then I've got to keep his slingers off my back. I can now do that with this cav unit, so I'm going to bring my chariots back down the infantry line. And see how I'm going to kind of keep them at a distance and just kind of keep clicking different attack orders. I've got to keep them moving, but you can see the rear charges there from the chariots are going to work. It's going to kill the Evocati cohort for the most part. But again, those guys are still wrecking my Pontic swordsmen. And I'm having trouble getting to his Balearic Slingers, and then of course these guys busted through, but I have Horse Archers over here so I can just keep my distance and continue to lay down fire. Bad thing is though, is my opponent still has quite a bit of Praetorian Cav left. It takes a while to kill, and you can see here that even though I got a clean charge, my Pontic Royal Cav is going to lose in the long run to that Praetorian Cav. It's just better. Melee Cav's just better than the extended melee. It's just how it is. So the Pontic Royal Cav was probably a risk that I shouldn't have taken and should have spent more money elsewhere. Here, his Praetorian Cav comes in and slows my chariots down again. And you can see the chariots, it's very hard for them to get kills against Cav because they can't keep moving. If they do move, they do get kills. And then here, look, my guy's getting sandwiched in between Evocati and Praetorian Cav. So again, the Evocati are just going to start mercilessly murdering my men. I don't have much of a prayer. And my chariots are starting to waver. So whatever kills I'm going to get, I've got to get them quickly. So I rear charge the Praetorian Cav. Almost no effect there for my chariots. There is no effect. Wow, chariot's just really bad versus Cav. And then here I can shoot his Evocati in the back, but with 85 armor, those guys are going to be pretty resilient. And then he pulls out of the Cav fight and wants to come finish off my general and my infantry, which he does. So now the fight is actually really close again, because he managed to kill my general there, and I see I only have one Cav unit left. Basically, this one just got intercepted. So I've got to keep my Cav unit alive, and my Horse Archers are going to have to win the fight, though I am worried about mass waivers at this point. And again, I have not used the skirmish function on my Horse Archers this time. I'm going to manually control them so that there's not any stupid things causing them to get caught. And here, downhill wedge charge into his Praetorian Cav. He did use the Draco ability, which is going to help him, but he's outnumbered, so it will help save me in the end there. And then his Praetorian Cav here gets shot down by heavy shot, and they're going to rout here in a moment at least. So yeah, it ends up being an extremely close battle. This is one of the reasons why I'm not a big fan of Evocati cohort. So they're just too strong. You just get too much for your money. Too much. It's an elite unit, and it needs to be priced like an elite unit. And I know that I always get the counter-argument on these guys that, hey, it's Rome, Rome was awesome, their infantry was bad, no one could touch them. I don't care, it's a game. History does have some relevance in a game, and I like when there's some historical relevance to a game, but in the end, a game is a game, and it's frustrating when you have a currency system that determines how players buy their armies, and one faction gets to just cheat it, and other factions get to just live it up. So another good example would be Bactrian Noble Horse. You get way too much bang for your buck out of Bactrian Noble Horse. Some of these things need to be repriced, and like Carthaginian Noble Cav, what's the point of it? It sucks, and it costs 1,000 talents. Why? So there's just some of these, it's not bad, so I'm not sitting here trying to say that Rome 2 online play is ruined. It's not. And Rome is not necessarily an OP faction. I managed to beat them here, actually, but look how Pyrrhic the victory is, just because of those Evocati core. Now, several of them did not get kills because I was able to hit them with my chariots quickly, but again, look at the ones that did get away from my chariots. I mean, both of them basically easily killing 2 units of Pontic swordsmen each, and that means that they got 1,240 talents worth of kills for a price of 830 or 880, whatever it is. It's pretty cheap. So I mean, and not only did they get it, they got it easily. And the only reason they died in the end was because my Horse Archers shot them to death. I mean, they could have easily killed a 3rd unit. So that's the reason why I get frustrated with them. Are they OP? Are they ruining the game? Personally, yes, I think they're a little OP. Are they ruining the game? No, I don't think they're ruining the game. Just because Rome can get raffle stomped so bad by elephant factions like Bactria and stuff. So that's the only reason why, though, that I think it's not ruining the game. If you didn't have those elephants or the chariots, Rome would be a massive force to be reckoned with, and horse archer factions would probably be the best way to go, which was kind of how it was on Rome 1. Again, this isn't meant to be like some kind of wild complaint. My opponent brought these troops probably as just like a joke, or just because he wanted to. And like I said, either way, I'm fine with it. It doesn't bother me. You can bring whatever you want. I'm just giving you my 2 cents on these units and what I think about it. Whether my 2 cents matters is up to you. You don't have to let it matter at all, and I'm not going to hold it against you. But again, I think as far as my mistakes go, Pontic Royal Cav, worthless. I didn't use either one of them the way they should have been used, so this was just like flushing talents down the crapper. I should have just brought Noble Blood Cav. So it's kind of wishful thinking on my part. I like to keep trying to keep Shock Cav alive in the game. It's not dead. It is just very difficult to use, though. It's another thing that I wish would just get tweaked just a little bit, so that it'll be a little more useful. I wish that they would give these guys a little more melee defense. It's just kind of weird that you give Shock Cavalry a bonus versus Cavalry, but it's terrible versus melee Cav. And it's kind of like, why do we have a bonus versus Cav on a unit that's really not meant to be used against Cav at this point? Shock Cav is meant to be used against infantry, and melee Cav is, at this point, it seems like meant to be used against other cavalry. Now, it can be used against infantry. You see what I mean, though? It just seems a little backwards. Like, melee Cav has the bonus versus infantry, but everybody uses melee Cav for Cav-on-Cav engagements because it's better. And then Shock Cavalry is meant to be used against Cav, supposedly, because it has a bonus versus Cav, but it ends up getting used against infantry and rear charges. So you see, there's just some weird disconnect there. I wish they would take care of it. I don't know exactly what the right way to fix it is. Again, just giving you my 2 cents. You don't have to agree, and it's not like I have the power to go tell CA how to make their game. In any case, HeirofCarthage signing off for now. Hope you all enjoyed it.